Hey y'all, it's your girl Steph and I'm back with another video. So today I'm telling y'all about my natural labor and delivery. Yes, I said natural, no epidural. But honey, that was not the plan. But let me tell y'all how it all started. And I'm talking about that only because like my baby is 9 months old. Yes, my youngest is 9 months old already. So 9 months in, 9 months out. Why not? All right, here we go. So it all started 2 a.m. July 31st. It was a Wednesday. My due date was August 2nd. So I was due that Friday. So at 2 a.m. I had a contraction, right? And I knew this was a contraction and it wasn't a Braxton Hicks because at this point, like, I just knew the difference. So it was a contraction. I got up, I went to the bathroom, and like, that was it. Like, no more. So I attempted to go back to sleep, even though at this point I was barely sleeping. But I attempted to go back to sleep, and I was still working. So I was back up at 4 o'clock anyway to get me and the kids ready for school. So I woke back up at 4. I didn't have no more contractions. I had to be to work by 6. So got into work, did my normal routine, got the kids situated in their classrooms. And at this point I was working in the lobby for the summertime. Like, they let me cover the lobby, so I was helping like take payments, answer phone calls, open the doors, make sure the classrooms was situated and everybody was in ratio. And like, I wasn't directly in the classroom all the time with the kids, but I was helping out and floating and like covering when the classes need coverage. So I get to work and I get situated, and I think I had another contraction, but it wasn't really strong, but I didn't tell nobody or whatever. So I didn't tell nobody or whatever because it wasn't really nothing. It was just like, I know I'm having a contraction, but they're not consistent. It's not like I'm like all the way in labor right now or nothing. So goes on about my day, and then at maybe about, I want to say it was like 9 or 10, I was in the classroom, in the toddler class. Matter of fact, I was outside with the toddlers covering while somebody went to the bathroom or went to go do whatever it is that they needed to do. And I was working with this girl, and I'm playing with the toddlers outside, and then I have a contraction, y'all. Like, a contraction, one of those contractions that kind of stop you in your tracks, but not fully there yet. So I made a face, and the girl saw me. The girl saw me make a face, and she was just like, "You okay?" Like, I think I might have scared her a little bit, but she was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm all right." Just playing it off. So I'm still covering for the kids, and so then whoever came back to the class and released me. So I went back to go do my normal routines, and it was go to the bathroom, get water, check on everybody else, and do whatever else it is that I was doing, helping out the director up in the front. So after that one contraction that I had when I was outside, I started getting them more, but they wasn't that strong. So like, they started coming probably like, I want to say like every half. Matter of fact, not even. They would come like, I would have a contraction, then I would have like a little bit of cramping, and then it would stop for like a good hour or so. And then they started coming like, it would be 2, and then that's it. So then I'm like, they're not consistent enough. So I'm like, I'm just still going on about my day, doing whatever it is that I was supposed to be doing, doing my job, going on about my day. I think it was like close to noonish when people start realizing like I'm looking like I'm in labor, I guess, or I'm looking like I'm in pain. even though I was still like going about my normal day. So they are asking me if I'm okay, and I'm like still walking around trying to cover for them to use the bathroom and do whatever it is that they gotta do, and helping out, you know, just doing whatever my job was at the time. So noon came and they started to get a little strong, like my contractions started to get stronger, but still not consistent. So I texted Jamar and I was like, I'm just giving you a heads up, like I'm having contractions more often. So just, you know, be on the lookout or whatever. Or listen out just in case if, you know, for whatever is going to happen. So I goes in and I covers the baby room. After I sent him that text, I covers the baby room so that they can have a break or whatever it is that I was covering for. And I comes out back into the lobby. And this man is in the lobby. What are you doing in the lobby? I said be on standby, not like, not show up to the job because I don't need you to be here right now. But he showed up. I guess he got nervous. I don't know. But at this point, it kind of worked out because I think at this time he had off on Wednesdays and Thursdays, if I'm not mistaken. He had off from his job, but he dealt with cars, and I think he was in the area doing some car work or whatever. So he got nervous and he ended up showing up to the job. So I'm like, all right, whatever. It's lunchtime, so we ended up going to get some food. So we went to Wawa because, y'all, I wanted a Wawa hoagie so bad. Like, so bad. I wanted this Wawa hoagie so bad. So we went to Wawa. I got my hoagie, and I had like a, one of their berry smoothies that they had at the time. I don't know. It was so good, though. But that's what I wanted. So I got that. I sat in the car with him for a little bit. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go back in here and get some more work done. Get back on the clock and get some work done. He was like, all right, well, call me if anything. Let me know, whatever. So I had a contraction in the car. But they still wasn't consistent enough, y'all. But he was like, he looked at me like he knew. But this not our first rodeo, as you know. So, so I goes back in and I'm like, I'm eating my hoagie at my little lobby desk. Eating my hoagie at my little lobby desk and drinking my my drink. And so my one director gonna say, you eating that hoagie like it's your last supper? I was like, listen, first of all, I'm mad hungry, and I know that I ain't gonna be able to eat nothing else, eat nothing during this, you know, time besides some ice chips. So I'm taking advantage of it, you know, eating this hoagie. So, so after I get done eating, I'm finishing up the paperwork that I was helping them with, and you know, my contractions still start coming like more often. But they not unbearable. It's just like, I feel the pain, obviously, but it's not unbearable. So it's probably like about 2-ish at this point. And my director she was having a meeting. And I think I was waiting to get some information also. So I was kind of like trying to wait the day out and see how everything was going to play out. But I was also like, this is probably going to be my last day of work. So let me get my hours in because I don't have to go to the hospital right now. So she ended up getting done with her meeting. Matter of fact, before that, y'all, she was like, this is probably going to be your last day, right? And I looked and I was like, yeah, probably. And so then I started telling her, like, where I put all the paperwork that I was helping her with. Like any information that she needed to know, I started telling her because at this point, it's like, I know, like, I'm going into labor. So, and then one of the other admin for my job, she was sitting in the lobby with me at one point, and she told me, she said, sit down and close your legs. You can't go into labor today. We need you at work. And I'm like, obviously, if I had some control over it, I would have waited until Friday. Because I didn't want him to be, honestly, I didn't want him to be born in July because Janaya's birthday is in July. Like, I was okay with waiting until August. But, you know, baby's going to come when they're ready to come. You don't have no control over that. So, anywho's, she had her meeting, and then we ended up having a meeting so that I can get the information that I was waiting for. And so, y'all, while I was in the office talking to her, I was having contractions. I think she knew, but I don't know if she knew I was legit having contractions at the time. Because for whatever reason, in that office at that moment, for like all of the whole 5 or 10 minutes I was in there, I had like a good 3 or 4 contractions. And I'm like, this is the most that they came the whole time. But she was talking fast. She was like, all right, I'm just trying to get this information to you because I know you in labor and blah, 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 blah. So she got the information to me. She told me what I needed to hear. And I was like, all right. So it was kind of like I was listening to her, but I was struggling focusing on what she was saying. Because I knew I was in labor, y'all. But, you know, I was trying my best to focus. Like, I'm having a hard time processing what you were saying. But it's 3 o'clock kids. And so I get the kids. It's time for me to clock out. I get the kids. I clock out. We get in the car. And matter of fact, before I left, I made sure like the kids pickup list was legit. Like had everybody on there that could possibly pick them up. Because you know, like for just in case, you just never know. So after that, we left. We ended up getting in the car. As soon as I got in the car and as soon as I got the kids situated, I made sure they had their seatbelts on. I sat down. I put my seatbelt on. Y'all, I had a contraction. So I'm like, I gotta drive home. So the contraction stopped, and so I'm like, I'm feeling okay. So it's like I'm able to drive home, and drive home like 10-15 minutes. So I'm driving. I'm like, I get like halfway home. I'm at a red light. I had a contraction. But this contraction, y'all, this contraction kicked my butt. Like, I tensed up, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I was at the red light. So then the contraction stopped, green light, time to go. So y'all, I'm driving, and I'm like, Lord, please do not let me have another contraction while I'm driving. Please do not let me have another contraction while I'm driving. Please do not let me have another contraction while I'm driving. And I was good. When I parked in front of my house, put the car in park, I had a contraction. I said, oh my goodness. After that contraction was done, I said, thank you, God. Thank you. Because at this point, y'all, they strong. They are strong. They still not like that consistent. Like, matter of fact, I'm lying. They were. By the time I was leaving, but right before I left work, they were consistent. They were, I want to say, everywhere between like 8 and 15 minutes at this point. So I want to say like everywhere between 8 and 15 minutes. Some of them even stretch for like a good 20 minutes. So we parked. We went in the house. I got the kids situated. I gave them, the whole pep talk in the car. Like, y'all know I might be going to have a baby, and y'all gonna be staying with, I gave them the whole pep talk. Even though I gave them this talk like a whole lot of times before, but I was just like, all right, this is it. Like, y'all gotta behave yourselves, be good listeners, do the right thing. Y'all gonna come up and visit me and the baby in the hospital, and blah blah blah. So we get to the house. I get them situated. I made sure all of their stuff was supposed to be. Even though I've been organized everything, but I just I went back, double check, and then I reminded Janaya, like, this is where this is, just in case if your aunt and Nanny Kim's and your uncle forget and they can't help you, you know where this is. You can help them out when you're getting you and your brother dressed, and blase blase blase. So, and then I even went back and double checked my hospital bag, make sure I had everything that I needed. And then after I did that, I got in the shower. I got cozy, y'all, in the midst of still having contractions, but they bearable. Like, they strong, but they bearable. So get in the shower, get cozy, blah blah blah. So now I think it was maybe 5:15, 5:30ish at this point. And I called Jamar. I was like, all right, come on, it's time. Because now my contractions were coming consistent. They were every 8 minutes, and they were strong. Like, they were lasting for like a good, like their whole 60 seconds, like they were supposed to. You know how they say, like, wait until they're every like 4 or 5 minutes or whatever. But I'm like, I know that the hospital that I gave birth at with all my kids is about a half an hour away from our house. So I'm like, let's give, and then it's rush hour. So let's give us some time and do what it is that we need to do. We go, we get to the hospital. They put me in a wheelchair, took me up to triage, checked me in. This is the part that I hate, y'all. This is the part that I hate. You know they gotta ask you 1,000,001 questions. 1,000,001 questions. I am in pain at this point. Now the contractions is taking over my body. Like, if I'm in the middle of a sentence, I stop talking. Like, my body tense up. They strong. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Like, oh my God, my fist balled up, my face, like, I'm ugly. Like, I'm, this baby is due. It's coming. It's coming. Don't talk to me. But they gotta send 2 and 3 people back to check you in and ask you 50,000 questions and whatever. So that's the part that I don't like. But then they checked me and they was like, well, this is how it works. Like, I'm new to the game. This is how it works. If you're not 6 centimeters, then we'll most likely send you home. But if you are 6 centimeters, then we'll stay. And then they said something about my water didn't break and blah, blah, blah. Like, my water didn't break. So she checks me, and guess what? I'm 6 centimeters. 6 centimeters dilated. So they're like, okay, so we're going to get you up to delivery and blah, blah, blah. So I'm up in the room. And now here come my contractions, stronger and stronger and stronger. So while I was having contractions, I had to force myself to breathe. Yes, it's so much pain that I forget to breathe. I did it with Josiah. Josiah was a different story. But I remember having contractions with Josiah, and I wasn't breathing. Guys, yes, contractions are strong enough to the point where you forget to breathe. So this time around, it's like, I'm more experienced. I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to breathe. I'm going to remember to breathe. Y'all want to know how my breathing was? My breathing was like I can hear myself breathing because I had to think about it. I had to think like, okay, during this pain, you have to make yourself breathe. You have to force yourself to breathe. These are the thoughts going on in my head. Force yourself to breathe. Breathe, Stephanie. Breathe. Through the pain, you have to breathe. So, yes, my breathing was dramatic. I had to force myself to breathe. I told them that I wanted an epidural. So I asked, like, will I be able to get an epidural? And the first thing that they told me was, yes, right? We're going to look into that and see where the anesthesiologist is. So they finally got back to me with some information while I'm having mad contractions, y'all. At this point, like, it's like I'm in so much pain. I'm looking at Jamar and he feel bad. And I'm like, yeah, you did this to me. So they finally came back and told me that the anesthesiologist is in a C-section. He's the only one there. It's nighttime, y'all. What was it? It was like 6:15, I think, when they told me that I was 6 centimeters dilated. So by the time they got me up to the room and situated, probably like 10-15 minutes later, so like 6:30 or whatever. So time going by, it's like 7:30. I get some information about so this whole time I'm having strong as crap contractions. They finally tells me that the anesthesiologist is in a C-section. And if I remember correctly, they told me that I was going to be next. Like, as soon as he gets done, he was going to come and see me next. So I'm like, okay, all right. So they're like, oh, he'll be done soon. It shouldn't be too much longer. So I'm still waiting in pain. And yo, at this point, right, my contractions were like, well, no, the baby's heart rate was dropping. His heart rate was dropping every time when I had a contraction. So they was like, they wanted me to like try to reposition myself when I would have a contraction. So she was like, okay, so this is what I want you to do. Try to turn to your side when you have a contraction. I can't even breathe while I'm having a contraction. What makes you think I can turn to my side? So, but you know, when you're a mother, you do anything for the safety of your kids. So I tried so hard, y'all. So I'm reaching over. So she like, all right, first try to turn this, turn that way when you have a contraction. So I felt one coming. So I reached for the pole on this side, because they got the poles up on the side of the hospital bed. So I reached for the pole on this side, and I'm trying so hard to pull myself over during this contraction. Y'all, no energy whatsoever, so I couldn't do it. I said, I can't do it. So then the next time I tried it again, and the doctor actually helped me. But then, they be in and out of the room. So I had another one. So then it got to the point where I was just like, Jamar, like, I had to give him some type of signal, like, I'm about to have a contraction, so pull me over as much as you can without hurting me. So then they was like, so that helped. That did help. That helped his heart rate to not drop while I was having a contraction. So then eventually, for some reason, that side, it just started hurting too much. And of course, my contractions is still getting stronger and stronger. Still no anesthesiologist coming to give me an epidural. But anyways, so so now she's like, okay, well, so I told the doctor, like, it just hurt too much to turn that way. So she ended up having me turn the other way, and that was actually easier for me to pull myself over to this side and like lean to this side while I was having the contraction. I don't know why, but it just was. So my baby heart rate was okay. So then they checked me again. I don't even remember what time it was, y'all. I lost track of time because I was just in so much pain. But they checked me again, and if I'm not mistaken, I was 8 centimeters. And still no anesthesiologist. So my mom was up at that point, and so then I'm asking them like, what are my other options? This is iced tea, by the way. So I asked him like what's going on? Can I still get an epidural? Like, I'm pretty much damn near crying. Like, can I still get an epidural? And so then, y'all, so now the dude was still, they lied to me. Whoever told me the first time that I was next, they lied to me, because they said it was 2 people in front of me after the C-section. So it was this one anesthesiologist on this floor, because for whatever reason, all my kids wanted to be born at night. So I actually had to deal with the same thing with Josiah, but I ended up getting the epidural with Josiah. But this time around, he was in a C-section, and then it was 2 women. I think it was like an emergency situation, and he had to go, and I'm like, all right, I get it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So at this point, it's time to push, basically. But then the lady, I remember they did tell me like it was another option, but whatever the option was, it was risking the baby's heart rate dropping and my heart rate dropping. And I'm like, I'm already, we already dealing with the fact that his heart rate is dropping right now, and I don't even have no medicine. So I was just like, no. I just looked at my mom. I was like, can you just tell them no? Like, I don't want that. Because my mom was telling me like more information about it, and I was just like, no, like I'm not risking my baby, you know. I didn't came this far, so at this point, y'all, they pretty much told me like I can push. They said next time you have a contraction, they checked me, and I don't even remember what they said. I don't remember what was said. I just remember hearing, the next time you have a contraction, if you want, you can push. But before that, I remember telling them, oh my God, I gotta poop. Like, I have to poop. Like, please take me to the bathroom. I have to poop. So, y'all, like, it wasn't baby, it was Jeremiah. I mean, it wasn't poop, it was Jeremiah. So, I remember them saying, the next time you have a contraction, you can push. And I'm thinking, well, what the hell happened to my epidural? So, y'all, at this point, my, like, 8 and 9 centimeters, I guess, kicked my, like, this is the most pain that I've ever felt. And honestly, I thought I had a high pain tolerance. But, y'all, 8 and 9 centimeters, if I'm not mistaken, that's what I was. Because, you know, you got to reach 10 to push, right? Don't you? Well, they kicked my butt. But when the lady said you can push on your next contraction, I was like, all right. So, y'all, clearly I forgot how to push because she played me like a 2-year-old, right? She gonna say, okay. So I remember pushing during this contraction, and she was like, okay, let's take a break. Let's practice. You gotta practice breathe. Take a deep breath. And then when you're feeling it, you push out. You gotta remember where to push. Like, she explained to me where I should feel the pressure at. So, apparently, I wasn't doing it right the first time. I apparently was not pushing right the first time, y'all. So, but you know, when you in so much pain, you listen, like, who knows what goes on up in your brain when you in so much pain. But anyways, so then we went through the whole practicing, like, breathing, you know, the correct way of breathing, and then the correct way of pushing. So then after that, you know, after her little teaching session, I was like, okay, like they knew. They was telling me, like, a contraction was coming, you know, because you hooked up to the monitor, so they know. So they was like, all right, so are you ready? And I was like, yes. And then I don't remember if I grabbed I know my mom was on one side, Jamar was on the other side. I don't remember if I grabbed them or if I grabbed the poles. Because I think they had my legs. I don't know. But I was grabbing something, and I was like, all right, here we go. And so, y'all, I remember at this point, it hurts like hell, but I felt something happening. So I push, and then they all like, oh, good job. So they all getting excited, and I'm like, so they all getting excited. So I guess they saw the head. So they're like, okay, push again. So I did it again on my next contraction. I remember pushing like a good 3 times. It was like through 3 contractions, pushing a good 3 times. After that 3rd push, I don't think he was all the way out, but y'all, I felt such a freaking relief that 4th push, I feel like that 4th and 5th push, I think, like, he came out. And oh my God, it felt like my body done out 1,000,000 pounds. That instant that he flew out, right? I don't even remember if it was really that many pushes or not. I know it wasn't too much. Like, I wasn't pushing for a long time. But I remember it was such an instant relief that my body just like relaxed, like, oh my God, it was such a relief. So then, like, Jamar cut the umbilical cord, and y'all, I was so, like, I felt so amazing. Like, my body felt so amazing, and it was such a different experience than, like, when I had the other two having epidurals with them. Like, you know how your body's still numb and you can't really feel everything. And then, like, with Janiyah, like, I had a real bad experience after that labor. And with Josiah, it wasn't as bad, but I was still out of it a little bit. But with Jeremiah, like, I feel like not having no epidural, it just made me be able to just, like, focus and, like, really know what was going on. And then I did my skin to skin with my baby for a whole hour. Like, the second he came out of me, they put him on me. And oh my God, like, I was literally able to enjoy every single moment of everything that happened. And then the part that I hate, when they pushing on your stomach and getting the rest of all of that stuff, how, like, I mean, it hurts, but it was just like, I was just so into the fact that I was holding this brand new precious baby that I pushed out with absolutely no medicine, y'all. No medicine at all. Pushed this baby out all natural. Like, the pain was worth it. It was so worth it. And then I had my hour skin to skin, and then he was just like, just so like, and he was doing this cute little thing with his lips, like, you know, trying to get some milk, and it was just like so, like, perfect, y'all. Like, it was so perfect, and like, all my kids was perfect, all my births was perfect, but it was just like a completely different experience to have this third child. Like, it wasn't my first time around, it wasn't my first time giving birth. It was literally the third time, and to have like such a completely different experience, it was like, it was awesome. It was so awesome. And I, like, honestly, I wouldn't even say, like, it was a great experience, but I wouldn't say if I could go back and, like, have Janiyah and Josiah over again, I wouldn't do epidural. I wouldn't technically say that, only because I don't, you know, like, even, it could have just been because it's a different stage in my life. So it didn't, you know, it could have affected me differently. I don't know. But I wouldn't even say that, only because now I can say I experienced the difference of, you know, giving a natural birth and giving a birth with some, you know, assistance from, you know, some numbing cream, some numbing injections. But I don't know if I would, like, sometimes I sit here and think, like, if I could if I could have a natural birth with all three of my kids, I would have done it, only because of the after effect. But then it's like, with me being younger, with Janiyah and Josiah, what if me having a natural birth would have affected me in a negative way, opposed to now that I'm older and my body been through it. It's like it was positive. But God forbid, what if my body wasn't ready for that and things would have been negative, you know, like, on both me and the baby. So everything happens for a reason. And I'm glad to say that I got to experience this. Like, women's bodies are, like, legit amazing. And then even afterwards, like, the whole, like, you know how they want to make sure they're around when you go to the bathroom for the first time, and, you know, make sure you all good. Like, I did what they asked me to do, but I didn't need them. Like, I went to the bathroom, no problem. I was ready to get in the shower, you know, once they told me that I could. Like, I just felt so good. Like, I was up and able to do stuff. I didn't feel like I was burnt in or needed to lay in a bed or needed help, needed assistance. Like, I was really literally enjoying every single moment of my baby. Like, and it was such a different experience. So, like, I enjoy every moment with all my kids. But, like, with Janaya, like, it was hard after I had her. But that's a different story for another day. And, like, listen, we are some amazing people. And I just, thank God I was able to go through that successfully. Thank you, God. It was obviously not something that I had planned, but I thank God that it went well. And for those of you out there who are making the decision to have a natural birth, God bless you. Those who are choosing not to have a natural birth, God bless you. And I just pray that you all have the strength and you make it through. Have a happy, healthy, sweet, precious bundle of joy. And just know that the pain is worth it in the end. The pain is worth it in the end. So, you can do it. Whichever way you choose. Thank you for listening to my story. Bye.